first thing that we're going to do is convert baking soda to washing soda. That's sodium bicarbonate to sodium carbonate. We're going to do this by heating it out in an oven at 400 degrees for about an hour. And general rule of thumb is about 20 grams per 100 milliliters that you want to process. Just kind of break this up a little bit and just try to get it as fine as possible. Again, what you want to do is drive out the water that's in the baking soda, and you're just doing that by applying a lot of heat over a long period of time, about 1 hour, again at about 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Ought to do the trick nicely. If you have washing soda already, you can just skip this step. You can also buy washing soda, probably in the Home Depot, I'm imagining. The thing is, it's harder to get. Baking soda is super easy and it's everywhere, and to me, I think like during this time where there's a lot of shortages, if you can just grab the vodka and grab baking soda at any corner store, I mean, that's pretty ideal. So on the left I have Stoli, and on the right I have whatever brand this is. This is like bottom basement barrel plastic bottle Grief vodka. If you notice, it says vodka with natural flavor. When they say natural flavor, it's seldom natural. I don't know what they put in this additive, but it does make it very difficult to process. I've had much better luck with Stoli. Stoli's a little more expensive, but again, this is pure vodka. There's nothing in it. So my point is that when you buy your awful cheap bottom shelf vodka, make sure that there's nothing else in it but vodka. Now, this being 40% alcohol, you're going to see if I pour a little tiny bit in here, right? Not too much. And then I try to light it with a match. Right? Nothing. Not a thing. So, no, maybe a little bit. Nope, nothing. Generally speaking, because there's high water content, this is not very pure, and as it's not very pure, you can't really get it to ignite. Pure ethanol will ignite, and it'll let off a beautiful blue flame. I'll demonstrate that in a little bit, but that's generally what you're doing here. You are purifying the alcohol, you're driving out all the water, and you're getting more refined ethanol product, and that's a fuel, but in addition to that, it's also sanitary. Anything below 50% water, which vodka by definition is, it's about 80 proof, which is 40%, is mostly water, and therefore not enough to really be an effective sanitizer, but also something that doesn't burn. And a quick way to test purity is just to see how well it burns. And while this is still baking in my gross toaster oven, I want to just show you something else really quick that's kind of related. This is 50% isopropyl alcohol. This is actually getting really hard to get now, but for a while it was available when all the pure stuff was out of stock. I can't even find this now, but you can actually take, if you have 50% isopropyl alcohol lying around, you have 70% say, and you want to purify it, this one's even easier. Just add salt, literally, just add salt to the mix. I did that right here, and I just gave it a good stir, right? And I didn't really even measure out the amount. I just kind of put in, just kind of filled up the bottom with it. And as you can see on the bottom right here, that's water, that's ethanol, and that's very pure ethanol. You can even refine this a few times. Essentially repeat the step over and over again, just kind of run it through a coffee filter, and you can purify it at each time. And it's not going to be perfect. I mean, you're never going to get 100% anhydrous ethanol, but you'll get pretty close. But literally, you take this, purify it, and if you want, just put it right back in the bottle and cross this out with a magic marker and put something else. Here I have the concentrated isopropyl alcohol with a little bit of solution left over in there, but I was able to really get most of it out, separate it from the water layer, and you can see like kind of how much is left from the original. And then this is kind of maybe overkill, but I also just kind of like to do a filtration step into a Target goblet because, again, not a chemist. I'm just kind of doing this with what I have lying around. And I think that's also kind of the point of this exercise too. It's the fact that right now, none of us apparently can seem to get our hands on basic medical supplies like sanitizer, rubbing alcohol, anything. And now we're going to do a burn test. Now for this, I'm going to take a very equally fancy spoon, and I'm going to just kind of put it in this little dish right here. I'm going to try to put maybe a little bit more if I can. Again, these are not the best tools for doing this. I'm sure there are far better tools to do actual chemistry instead of my janky ass procedure right here. But here it goes, nothing. Let's see how this lights. There it goes. Okay, so this is some washing soda. It started out as baking soda that I had baking in an oven for quite some time. I'm not just kind of mixing it to let some extra steam out. The formula, again, is about 20 grams per 100 milliliters. Hop that right on in there. Throw that all in there, right? And then start stirring. and you got to do this a lot. This is not an easy stir by any means. You really have to go at it. And my recommendation is that you keep stirring and you keep adding. And then what you're going to see is it's literally going to start foaming out. And the water will start to clump to the bottom. And the ethanol will float to the top. And you can repeat the step several times. And when you get very pure ethanol, you'll notice that the carbonate will just start sticking to itself. It will not want to mix. It'll just kind of create hard crystals in the bottom of the glass. Purified ethanol on top. Water in the bottom. I will just let it precipitate a little while. The goal here is to get this away from this. You can do that with, again, I just use a turkey baster. You could use a syringe. You could use whatever means you have, eyedropper, whatever you concoct to just basically remove one from the other. Okay, so after separation, I have purified ethanol on the left. It's a little cloudy. I got to run it through a filter. And on the right, I got the water. Now, these are the same juice glasses, so you can kind of see there's a little more ethanol than water, and really the ratio should be reversed. And the reason why there's more ethanol than water is just simply because that's probably not, pure ethanol. If it were pure ethanol, then I would expect the level to be down here. I'm probably assuming this is about 80%. The good news is that, again, we can just repeat the step and filter it out one more time. And to filter out this first step, it's nothing more than a regular old coffee filter over, again, this fancy goblet from Target. So, yeah. It's going to look a lot better once it runs through the filter. And now for a quick test of the purified vodka. Okay, that's what I like to see. Beautiful blue flame. Not too much yellow. You'll probably start to see a little bit soon, so I expect there's going to be a little bit of impurities. There you go. You can kind of see it yellowing out there. This will sanitize the hell out of anything. You can, prepare any manner of cleaning product or sanitizing product with this, including hand sanitizer. No worries about that. So a quick word about hand sanitizers. In an ideal world, if you had 91% isopropyl alcohol, you mix it with some gel, and presto, you have a hand sanitizer. Now, obviously, because of the shortages that we have to make do with whatever we have on hand, right? We have just extracted ethanol pretty successfully of an unknown purity, but definitely above 60% easily, and that's what the CDC recommends for sanitation. Whatever purity you have, and I encourage you to test it with a hydrometer if you can either get one or make one, you can apply it pretty safely with just a plain old sponge, and I've just kind of cut 2 circles out here and tore out the backing and doubled it up. And optionally, I added a little bit, just a couple drops of some hydrating gel, which if you can get this is like $3 at CVS. You don't have to get this brand, just get whatever's available. You can add this to your mix and soak it in the sponge. And then I have this little plastic container. You can probably get it at any sort of dollar store or a hobby store. The point is, you can even use an Altoid tin. It doesn't matter. The point is, if you can get your hands on some sort of a portable container, throw a sponge in there, saturate it, add a couple drops of moisturizer just to protect your skin, and then literally, you just apply it directly to your skin. And I would occasionally refresh it with new product. And what you probably want to do is just replace it every now and then, and top it off with fresh alcohol when you can. Thanks for watching. To everybody out there, I really wish you the best of luck during these upsetting times that we live in. Take care of your loved ones. Take care of yourself. Use your head. Stay calm. Stay focused. And with any luck, we'll get through this nightmare soon with the best possible outcome. To any chemist or lab professional watching this, I apologize for my terrible setup. I actually really invite you to take everything that I just demonstrated here and bring some rigor and discipline to it. The only thing that I caution is whatever you design to, please keep in mind that it should be accessible to the average person with no lab equipment and minimal materials. I know that's a tall order, but I'm very excited to see what else is out there that can improve upon what I just demonstrated. And that's it. Stay safe, everybody.